promised, I think it was a day or two or three ago, that I was going to be doing something with people from all over. Uh, Decided to start bringing some people over. What? Indian lovers, football. How are you guys? What's up? How's everything going over there, man? Is everything good? How are things going over in India?
Yeah, I'm good. What about you?
Good, good. Tell me a bit about this whole thing, Indian football lovers. Tell me a bit more. I've watched I've read your content. I've seen your content. I like what I see. Actually, I've learned a couple of things in the process as well. So tell me a little bit more
Yeah.
about how'd you get started? First of all, let's get to the nitty gritty. Let's get to the very basic aspect of this all. Uh, Actually, in this part of the world, people think India, people think cricket. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
how how do how are Indian football fans over there? I mean, I've seen it. I'm not asking for me. I'm asking for people that are joining it and watching, and want to maybe are from this part of the world and want to know a little bit more about what's going on. So tell me a little bit more. How are Indian football fans first and foremost?
You see, it's crazy out there, okay? It's pretty crazy, yeah. And the
Hmm.
Northeastern and then the Kerala fan base, they are
Uh-huh.
just crazy. They're crazy about football.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen. I've personally seen that when I've seen matches. Of course, they show. The Indian Super League here in this part in the U.S. I mean, you have to watch it on an app, but still,
Yeah.
you get to watch it anyway. You watch it on One Football, which is, of course, one of the places where where I do work as well. And
Yeah.
I mean, how did it come to be that there's certain areas of India that are uh, very invested in football from an emotional and also from a money perspective as well. I mean, and time as well. Tell me a bit more about that.
Yeah, you see, India completely, it's still a developing country, okay?
Hmm.
We are still not at the phase that our football is in peak. We are still developing, and the Kerala region, the south of India, the
Hmm.
Kolkata region, and the northeastern region out here is pretty much they're very heavily invested in football here.
Yeah, I mean,
They
I've seen, and I've spoke to people from those regions, and how did that come to be? I mean, was there an impact? Because I know in many parts of Asia, for that matter, let's just try and expand it a
yeah,
little bit more. Uh,
yeah.
it was a team that came. It was a player that they followed. It was an event that they had that ended up having a huge impact in terms of them following football or them following a footballing country.
You see, earlier India was the mainstream game here was football, okay.
Hmm.
Then later on it came to be cricket, okay.
Really?
Then yeah, it was earlier
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
before before 83. You see the Mohan Bagan club, one of the oldest club in the Asia.
Hmm.
It is one of the oldest club, and India was
Yeah.
heavily invested in football earlier. But then there was a sudden downfall, and then there was downfall from there. And then about 2010 and 9, we started
Hmm.
growing again. Then
What was it? Uh-huh.
we got talents like Sunil Chhetri and many
Yeah.
more. Gurpreet Singh Sandhu as well.
I mean, you just taught me something I did not know because I mean I know that India qualified before to a World Cup, but they didn't go for
Yeah,
Was that one of the reasons why?
maybe I wasn't there, but
Oh no,
my parents,
I tell
yeah,
you,
my
you look
parents,
damn good.
my grandparents,
Yeah.
yeah, it was like it was mainstream.
Hmm.
But when India wasn't able to play in the World Cup, from there the downfall began.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was going to assume, but I wasn't sure if that was the case or if there were other factors.
Yeah,
Obviously, you know, India being one of the best countries in terms of cricket, or obviously one of the biggest followings. Uh, I thought that
yeah,
was also a factor as well. But I mean, what you're saying also is a very valid point. So that
yeah,
therefore, of course, but I didn't know it was to that extent back in the 1940s and 50s, I guess you could say. But I mean, it's
yeah.
understandable. But so how did you get into it, or how did your friends get into it, or your group of content
Yeah.
creators get into football and getting into an eventual project that you're doing right now?
Okay, so firstly, I'll talk personally about me, how I got
Yeah,
invested in it. You see, back in 2014, I'm from a region where football is heavily supported in India. I'm from northeast of India.
yeah. Northeast United, right?
So
You
it's,
support?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right, got it.
So it's like a religion out here, okay?
Uh
We are
huh.
crazy about football.
Mm-hmm.
So right from the schooling period, we were heavily invested in football. So this is how my journey towards discovering this content of
Mm-hmm.
football started.
Okay, all right. That's, and was there a moment we said, "Hey, we got to get this. We got to take it to the next level. Guys, let's do this. Let's go and get this started." How did that part end up working out?
Well, that started back in 2018 when we saw there was very less pages, or I must say content creators who were creating stuff about Indian football.
Hmm.
So then we thought, why not take up the chance and promote Indian football as well?
At that point, okay, let's go back to 2018. Were there a lot of sites that were doing it, or is it something that's really coming to uh, more productivity in the last couple of years? Let's say 2019, 2020, even. I'll
Well,
stretch a little bit.
there were pages, okay, there were content creators who were covering
Hmm.
Indian football,
Hmm.
but it was not that largely done as it is done in Europe, South America,
Hmm.
or other parts of the world.
So you got in just in time.
Yeah, I pretty much
And you
did.
you you can basically say, hey man, we were one of the first ones, or we're one of the first ones in this particular moment.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. Now, what other leagues do you see people in India following? Don't say the Premier League, because that's the obvious one.
Yeah.
Outside
See,
of it.
the outside of the Premier League, the Indian Super League,
Okay.
uh, yeah, we watch mostly in India. The ISL is preferred as a top tier league. Then
Hmm.
people around here watch Santosh Trophy as well, I League. And when we
I mean,
go outside of,
mhm. I'm sorry for those
yeah, you
watching.
can say.
Explain what that competition is.
You see, these are competitions where 32 teams participate, if I'm not wrong. Then in
Hmm.
Santosh Trophy, there are betting, and I think there will be promotion from next season to the Indian Super League, those who win the I League. I'm not
Hmm.
sure yet.
Okay. I heard that they've been talking about that the past couple of weeks. I've been reading a lot about,
Yeah,
whether it's going to happen, whether it's not going to happen. Is that a good idea in your
yeah,
in
it
your
is.
assessment?
Yeah, it is.
Why?
You see, there are 10 to 11 teams right now. When the
Hmm.
competition grows, it becomes more, the clubs will fight more. There will be more chances in the top tier league for Indian players,
Okay.
especially the Indian, which will help grow Indian football to next level. 10 to 11 clubs won't do much, but when we'll have 13, 14, 15 clubs and the footballing season grows as well, like 6 months, 7 months, then we'll look that development to the next level.
I have a question that someone just asked, and it's interesting that
Yeah.
Klaus just says, do you guys have access to South American soccer in India?
Yeah, we do. We watch South American soccer, but not the leagues, I guess. I don't watch many.
Okay. All right. Well, you watch the national teams, right?
Yeah, yeah, I do watch.
Like which one? Which one's the most popular one? I mean, I know which one, but I'm asking you in a rhetorical fashion. Which is the most popular one in India right now? Which
You
national
see,
team you could say is the one that Indians follow? People from India follow the most.
South American teams, there are Argentina and Brazil. They are like completely taken over the Indian population.
I saw some really funny videos of like families watching last year the Copa America final, and some were supporting Brazil, some were supporting Argentina. It was coming from this part, of course, ends up like, huh? How did that happen? And my question to you is, how did that happen?
Well, it happened. As I already said, in India, football is passion. So earlier
Mm-hmm.
we were not up to the mark, the Indian national team. So
Mm-hmm.
people started following national teams outside of India, like Argentina, Brazil, Spain,
Mm-hmm.
etc. So due to which these teams became the favorites of all Indians.
Mm-hmm.
So this is how Argentina, Brazil, Spain, or
Yeah.
take any other countries.
And I remember, I mean, because I put up a video, or not me personally. I saw a video on social media of people riding their motorcycles. I think it was, I forgot what part of India it is, so I can't. I'm not gonna go say, oh, it's this one because I don't remember. Uh, they're all riding their motorcycles. They're all with their Argentine flags, and and it's something that's for people in this part of the world ends up being something surreal. And I tell you this not because I'm saying it. I'm telling you this because when I put it up, I started getting messages
Yeah,
from friends in Argentina saying, "Whoa, they follow us there? I didn't know that." Or they follow Messi, and they follow this. I mean, obviously Messi's something out of the norm,
yeah.
if you will. But how they how they were celebrating something that for us seems so distant from you ends up being that much more amazing, and at the same time more unifying, because it's like, oh well, maybe we don't have as many differences that compared to Indian culture in the grand scheme of things, if you understand what I'm saying. I mean,
Yeah.
we're more unified by our similarities than we are distanced by our differences, if you really start looking at it from that perspective.
You see, as Indians, we are not looked up as a footballing nation. So many
Mm-hmm.
people think that we are not following football as well. So as you said, that many of the Argentines texted you and said, "Wow, which part of world is this?"
Yeah, they're like, nah, this is like, what, they didn't believe it. I'm like, yeah. I was like, hey, look, they were celebrating after they won the Copa America at,
Yeah,
I don't know, what was it, 6 o'clock in the morning, whatever time it was in India. I don't remember.
it was
Let's say,
5:30, 5:30. Yeah,
yeah, and it's like, okay, I mean, kind of what happened inversely in Brazil, I guess, back in 2002 when they won the World Cup in Korea and Japan.
Mm,
They were up at 4 in the morning celebrating. We're drinking beer, watching the World Cup. At that time, I was living in Argentina. People would go to bars at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning to go watch the games and kind of see what's up, or they would stay up until 3 o'clock in the morning and then go to sleep, or they get up early to go watch the games, depending on your schedule during the day. But that
yeah.
seems something that really blows people. Was there a particular moment, or is this, hey, Argentina is winning at this time, Brazil is winning at this time? Because, like I said before, there's certain events sometimes, and I'll give you an example. Malaysia, for example. In Malaysia, also many follow the Argentine national team, but in their case, it was
Yeah.
because of the under 20 World Cup back in 1997 that you started to get that following. Was there something similar in Indian football that caused that following, or is it just, hey, they the players are popular, they're doing well, therefore, okay, I follow them.
And I'll say that Argentina became famous from the time Maradona was there. They won the
Mm-hmm.
World Cup, and it was like pretty crazy out there. I wasn't here, but I hear from my parents that it was just crazy.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Wow. And when he passed away, how was the reaction over there?
And it was just shocking. We were all sad, especially the guys who follow football. We were like, what just happened?
Yeah, I mean, what did he mean to? I mean, you talk to people in Argentina, they say one thing. You talk to people in Brazil, they say another. You talk to people in the U.S., they say another. Of course, you hear that you can look at the video that Gary Lineker had the day actually the day he passed away. But
Yeah,
what does he mean to people in India?
just simple God. He means God.
Mm.
He is the God of football.
Is he why many people got into football there?
Yeah, obviously he is one of those reasons
Yeah.
due to which there was an upbringing of football in India.
Oh, I mean, you mentioned your parents a lot, your family a lot. They follow football?
Yeah,
Was he part of
yeah,
the
my
reason why
father
they got
did.
in?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, your father what?
so my father did follow football a lot, but not my grandfather. My father was pretty much invested in football. He
Hmm.
still is.
Okay.
So
Was Maradona part of the reason why he got into football?
yeah, he was. He talks to me about Maradona all the time.
That's great, man. That's awesome. That's awesome, man. That's great. Uh, but that's, I mean, it's good to be able to hear it from that perspective instead of,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not saying that I know anything. I don't, but to be able to have someone like you explain it ends up being that much more vital if you understand what I'm saying. It
yeah,
ends up being much more important to to be able to tell that story because I can
yeah,
go and yell it and scream it and say but when I have someone come and tell me this or someone explain it the way you've explained it ends up being much more valuable if you understand what I'm saying.
yeah. It certainly does.
Okay, cool. Tarun, Diego Forlan, Asamoah Gyan, Tim Cahill, Maluda Simão Sabrosa. Tell him about the fans of KBFC and ATLMB and Northeast United. Tell me about them. Which
Well, I
hey,
already
will I get you in trouble if you end up telling me which one's the most intense fan base? Which one's like the best fan base? Will I end up getting you in
no.
trouble?
If I say this, I'll be in trouble. Okay.
Ah, okay, get in trouble then. Go ahead. Let me get you in trouble. Go ahead. Which one?
I can't say a particular fan club. Okay. It will be like it will be injustice to them. Okay. There are pages which there it will be just injustice to the fans. Okay. I can't say that
Uh-huh.
particular fan a particular group of fans are better than the others. Okay. It will be just injustice. All
Okay,
the
fair enough.
fans of all the
Fair,
clubs
fair,
are
fair enough.
good.
Fair enough. Ah, I like that. That's a diplomatic way of getting out of it.
Yeah.
That's great. I mean, let me see. There was a couple more questions. I tell him currently Manjapara. I don't. Okay, okay, cool. I see where he's trying to take you. KBFC
Well,
fans.
can I ask you a few questions here?
Sure, ask me. Go ahead. Yeah, good.
Yeah, so when did you start following Indian football? Many of us wants to know.
I don't know if there was a date. It was. I mean, I always when I'm working, I tend to have I have my TV on or some type of sound. So when you start to when you start to listen to certain things, you want to hear something different at times, and a lot of times I was curious. Hey, how? And mind you, sometimes the hours that I've worked in the past end up being very weird hours. So
Yeah,
I'm writing at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, and it's the only thing on. I'll be completely honest with you. Uh, but there's times that, regardless if it's 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, there's something that's interesting. Hey, it's something that really lifts your curiosity. I say, hey, let me. So at one point, I was, I think it was like the first match of the day in Indian football. It was like around 4 in the morning here. So when that time, let me see what game's going on. Okay, cool, and I have it there on the
yeah,
side, and I really wouldn't pay too much attention to it until you started to hear the Diego Forlans, the Simaos, and all these players going to
yeah.
that game. Like, why? Why are they going there? You
Just for
know?
holiday, some say.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't. I mean, I don't doubt it. And mind you, actually, my wife and I were talking about the other day. She's like, would there be a country that we go to and just go and have the experience? And India's been one of them.
Hey, welcome to. Well, you're welcome here. Okay.
Thank you, thank you. Uh, at that time, I also started to befriend a former national team coach over there, Stephen Constantine, and we WhatsApp each other frequently. how he, hey, how are you? What's going on? How's the family?
Yeah.
Type of thing. Um, he's in Cyprus, then he's here. I'm like, first of all, what part of the world are you in? That's one of my first questions to him all the time. But he was the one that got me truly interested in what he was saying and what the work that he was doing at that time in India, and it got me really
Yeah.
curious. Do I know everything? No, I don't. I don't, and I'm far from it. If I come in telling you that I did, I'd be lying to you. I don't, and I'm a beginner when it comes to all that. But football in the end is football, and you know that if a player is running in a certain way, that a player is dribbling in a certain way, those things
Mm.
regardless of the league that you're watching. So uh, he's the one that got me interested. And then I've had other people that have come in and spoken to me and told me about certain things. Uh, Marcus is another guy that's been very, very helpful in this.
Yeah, he
This
has been.
open.
Yeah.
Marcus is a genius. I enjoy reading him. I enjoy uh, exchanging messages with him. So he's great too. And then, of course, I've had the pleasure of doing a couple of games, doing commentary with Gary O'Reilly, and
Yeah.
which he does, or he has done games in the past with the ISL, and he tells me about the experiences that he's had there, and it makes you want to experience something different. I'm not saying that it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's anything. I'm just saying that it's a different experience, and therefore it's something that I at one point would like to be able to say, hey, you know what, I'm somewhat knowledgeable about that, and does their does their best to be able to try and contribute in any which way possible. So we'll see how that's out. Wavering, it's not the best answer, but it's my answer. So I mean, as far as Indian football is concerned, I see that it's growing.
So
Like
here's
I
a
said,
question for you popping up in the comment
sure.
box.
What happened? What happened? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Shoot. Go ahead. Read it.
Tell us which ISL club do you support?
Ooh, I don't know if I can right now, because I don't think it's fair. Here's my logic. Okay, because it's very easy for me to go and say, oh, I'm a Hyderabad fan, or I'm a Kerala. Yeah, they're doing well. You know, I'd have to be truly invested emotionally in a team in order to go and say, hey, you know what? Yeah, I like this team. You know, it's not fair for the fans that have been there in terms of the good times and the bad times for me to go all of a sudden, hey, I'm on
Yeah.
board, guys. Here I am. No, no, no. It doesn't work that way. At least with me, that's the way I am. And I don't want to go and say, hey, I'm a
Yeah.
fan of this team or I'm a fan of that team. I'm not.
Yeah.
Have there been teams or have there been fan bases that I've been more interactive with? Yes. And, KBFC was one of them, and they're great, and I enjoy
Yeah.
interacting with them, and they have been sensational when it comes to I mean, just any type of little nugget that you give them, they're great about it. Or anytime,
Yeah.
I think it was Northeastern as well. FC Goa has been, the fans have been cool with me too. So I
Yeah.
mean, I'm super. I mean, just the fact that they know someone that's not even remotely close to their part of the world, to me
Yeah.
that's like, wow, it's something amazing. So one, at least from a personal standpoint, to me it's flattering. So for me to go and say, hey, no, I can't say that because I haven't been following it that long. First of all, I haven't gone and experienced the adversity some teams have gone through, and I think you have to experience more of the adversities than the triumphs in order to become a fan,
Yeah.
because that's where the allegiance truly grows. So
Yeah.
for me to jump on when a team's winning, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make me a fan. That just makes me someone that wants
Yeah.
to, just enjoy someone lifting a trophy. That's it. So
Yeah.
so what was the other question?
You see, there was a question. Do you know any ISL player or coach? Are you in contact with any of them?
Not well. I mean, I'm in I'm not sure if I can mention names because yeah, but yeah, I've been in contact with sporting directors. I've been in contact with a couple of players here and there. But that's like I said, it's for material that I've done, at least in this part, excuse me, in this part of the world, that's been, and the information that they've given or they've shared with me has been completely off the record.
So now one more question for you, if you don't mind.
Go ahead, sure, man. Ask away. Go ahead. If you have another one, go ahead.
You see, do you think that ISL, the Indian Super League, is bringing some change in Indian football, the quality of Indian football?
I don't think that it's going to harm it. I
It
think
won't.
I think it's going to help. I think if it's managed properly, it can. What is it that you want? What is it that you're looking for? That's always going to be my first
You
question.
see, yeah, we here are looking for better national team performance. Okay, that's
Mm-hmm,
what matters more than the league and
mm-hmm,
anything else. We, as Indian football fans, we want our national team to perform well,
mm-hmm,
and we want quality players getting more and more time and getting some time out of India as well, like in places from Europe, South America.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. There is
That's what,
there is a South America. There is a player from India, or at least from an Indian background, that's in South America right now. He's actually in Colombia
yeah,
in
there
the second
there are
division.
players, yeah.
Okay, is the league doing anything to try or are the teams within the league doing something in terms of a style of play that's going to therefore help out the league, the national team? Because
You
the reason
see,
I say this is, number one, look at the best national teams that have come out in the last 10 years, 12 years. See what they have in common. See what that Spain team from 2010 had in common with the Germany team in 2014. So, are the national team players coming from one team, or are the national team players playing a certain style of play that they can apply it then to the national team and be able to make that transition that much smoother? Because competing within the league doesn't necessarily make your national team better. And I think many
yeah.
fall into that trap. Well, if we have better teams, yeah, but sometimes the owners don't necessarily look.
So you're not visible, sir. So you're not visible, sir.
For many club owners, doesn't necessarily matter for them because they're looking for their club to be, they're looking out for the best interest of their club. So
Yeah.
what might work out for them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right, cool. So with clubs,
You see
sometimes
the,
that ends up being a tricky proposition. So if you have teams, if you have a coach that says, okay, this is the style of play we're going to play. Therefore, I need to be looking at this team, this team, this team, and this team, and maybe a sprinkling of players throughout to kind of fill the gaps. When you start
you
looking at it from that
see,
perspective, then that's when you start to make the difference. Not just, hey, let's just grab the best players available and put them together.
yeah, the
So,
transition from the league to the national team, it's pretty much tough for the players, okay?
yeah.
The coach, the coaches prefer different playing styles as well. Some prefer very much of attacking football, some defend, then they attack. So the transition process is quite difficult for them. And the main thing which affects this is the lack of game time in the national camp.
And that happens with
The,
every national team. It's not just India that's being affected by it. And
yeah,
at least in India, you have for the most part, the players on the national team are playing domestically. So the travel
yeah,
time is
they,
much less. And maybe you have a couple of hours, maybe you have a day more, if that, to be able to practice, to be able to train together. There are certain national teams that don't have that luxury. They come in, they fly from Europe to wherever, and they come in on a Wednesday and they play on Thursday. How much time do you really have to prepare? Look at the World Cup now, especially with the Premier League
yeah.
players. They're going to have a week, if that.
Now, if you are comparing Premier League with the Indian Super League, it
No, no, no.
sounds
No,
injustice.
no, no. I'm not talking. I'm not comparing it in terms of level. I'm comparing it in terms of time.
The time here in
The
respect to
yeah,
quality,
mhm. But I mean, I'm talking about in terms of time for the World Cup. The Premier League players into this World Cup are going to only have a week to prepare with their
yeah, they
national
have
team.
been.
They're only going to have a week.
Yeah, but they have been having training sessions
Hmm.
with the club for a long time. And here in India, it's not like that. Here
Yeah,
we play 3 to 4 months of league, then the players are out in their home.
that's a huge problem. That's a,
Yeah,
and the calendar doesn't help because what good is which team's going to pick you up in March, April? No team, and no calendar. Maybe someone in this part of the world, maybe in a major league soccer, maybe a and I'm stretching it because if you start looking at it at Brazil's already started in January. Argentina's already started in
yeah,
February. Just to give you an example of leagues around this part of the world, that it's basically a different calendar here, but it's tough, and your season's done, and then
it is.
you're
Yeah,
what March until September when you start getting ready for the season in late October, early November. So you have
yeah,
what
and
6, 7 months off.
and the training sessions, the pre-season training sessions start late as well.
Yeah. What is you guys start what this year? September or something like that?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
and currently only few teams, just one or two are having training sessions. That too for the AFC Cup.
yeah. So I mean, it needs to switch a little bit, but you know what? I understand too because uh and I'll ask you. I mean, would they be able to play in June?
Yeah, they can, but it's up to the board to decide it. We are
Okay.
not here to talk.
What month of the year would you say it's inhumane to play in certain parts of India?
I'll say
What I mean by
March to
yeah,
July.
I say that like
March to July.
yeah, like you'd be like, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy because they could drop dead because it's so hot, it's so humid, whatever.
Yeah, in the northern region, playing football March to June, July, it's pretty tough. It's completely hot there. It's humid.
Yeah.
The
So I
players
mean,
even
I'm sorry, guys. The players what?
the players even might be injured due to this. There might
Yeah,
be some conditional problems.
yeah. That part I understand because just like you wouldn't have players playing in the United States in or Canada
No,
in.
but here
Mhm.
in India, when we can't play in Delhi, we can surely play in the northeastern region or the southern region. The
Yeah.
temperature out there, the climate isn't that inhuman that time.
Mhm.
So the league, if you ask me, should go on full year.
No, and what you're saying is valid because we here it's kind of similar. In the summer, there's certain areas that it's inhumane to play. Like
Yeah,
you have 40. I mean, it feels at times
40 to
at least
45.
40 to 45, sometimes 50 to 55. It feels
Yeah,
like so. And here where I live in Miami, it can get to feel like it's 40 to 55, 40 to 45, and on top of it, you have 80% humidity, which
yeah,
it feels like you have the weight of the weather on your shoulders. You're like, no. But I mean, I understand. And same thing if you go to the other extreme, sometimes it's extremely cold. So much so that they play matches in the snow. Foreign
yeah.
players need some time to adapt to climatic. Yes, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, they do. Absolutely. I mean, I'm talking about climate. Yes, because there's players that have never
That's why
played.
pre-seasons are important.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it can get so humid in certain parts of the world that it seems like you're underwater. It's just not humid.
Yeah,
Yeah, but Spanish players they perform. very from the very first game. Yes, because certain parts of Spain are relatively warm, so they end up adapting very well. Uh, Certain Brazilians also adapt very well because it's they come from a hotter climate, if you will. Some that are more accustomed to cold, forget it. It's just not going to happen. I've seen that. I've seen it personally with players that have played even the Premier League or La Liga that they aren't accustomed to that weather. It's just like, oh my god. Some South American players, not all. No, there's some that come from cold climates and they're like, no, no, I can't play. And that's part of the aspect that maybe doesn't seduce people to go play in India. It's they know and they've heard about the weather, and that ends up being something that's very very lacking in interest, to put it another way. So we'll see.
You see,
Hmm? I'm sorry, go ahead.
South American footballers in India have been truly magical in the past 5 to 6 years.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Player,
I mean, okay. Let me ask you this question because I've had people that I've spoken to that are interested or say, hey, you know what? Maybe I want a chance to play over there. I'm not going to name names because I'm not their agent, so
yeah.
I have nothing to do with them. What would you do? You, you run Indian football, you run the ISL. How do you seduce those types? Hey, come and play over here. We want you over here.
Firstly, there must be a broadcast of the league. Okay, the broadcasting rights must be there in those countries so that the players out there can be
Mm-hmm.
brought here.
Mm-hmm.
The league can be brought into the attention of the players.
Mm-hmm.
Then there will be some technical calls like sending some agents out there,
Mm-hmm.
some scouts as well, find out new talent, young talent.
Young talent or talent that's already. I mean, are you in need of younger? Do you think Indian football needs younger talent from a South American perspective, or are the? I mean, you have Adrian Luna over there, who's what? He's 32 or 33. So I mean, he's I think the highest paid player in Indian football right now.
No, young players perform well here. You can take the example of Martin Chavez. He was
Hmm.
19 or 20 when he arrived at India.
Hmm.
It pretty much helped the league as well, gaining
Yeah.
popularity through him and also his own career.
Okay. I mean, I asked because I mean,
So
what would you say to a player? Hey, these are the reasons why you should come and play here.
I'll just say that, come on, try it.
Well, I mean,
I'll just say, try it.
try it. Okay. I mean, what have you seen have been the positives in growth in the last few years in Indian football?
The
The things
quality
that
have developed.
the quality. Okay.
The quality in the league have developed.
Okay.
The Indian team has obviously been doing good.
Hmm.
So due to this, I think the players should come here.
Okay. That's fine. I mean, yeah. I mean, and those are valid reasons, and if that's the way you present it. Then that's that could
Yeah,
be something that has players say, hey, why not? You see. Anyway, oh, I told you it was gonna be short, and we've gone way over. But you know,
yeah,
thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Hey, before we go, let people know where they can follow you, where what the content you guys have over at Indian Football Lovers. Tell me a little more about that.
You see, this is our Instagram page. You can follow us, Indian football lovers. Um, we create Indian football related content. You can follow us on Twitter as well.
Hmm.
We we even run a WhatsApp group.
Oh, you do? Is
Yeah, we do.
is it a private one or a public one, or is it going to be
It's a
like
public
Telegram?
one.
Okay. Well, do me a favor. When I post this, uh, just reply with the link. Okay. I'll see if I can. I'll see if I can put the, at least
Yeah,
this. Just make sure you reply with the link to the WhatsApp group, and we'll see what we can do to help you out. Maybe
yeah,
get a couple of people to join in. Okay. 100 plus
yeah.
members. Cool, cool, cool. Sounds good. So yeah. So make sure you do that. And you have a personal Instagram?
Instagram, we don't have any group, and this
No,
is the
no,
only page we are.
you. I'm talking about. Do you have an your own Instagram?
Yeah, I have, but I don't think I should promote it right now.
Why not? I
It's
mean,
better to stay here.
oh, okay, okay. Oh, is that kind? Okay, never mind. I'll just.
It's better to stick here, you know.
Okay, no problem. It's okay. It's okay. All right, cool. So, all right, guys. I thank you. I appreciate and all the best of luck.
It was great
And
talking to you.
yeah, it was great talking to you too, man. All right. So,
So
thank you guys.
you'll be coming to India soon?
Man, don't be saying that. Don't be jinxing it. I'll announce it when it does happen. If it does happen, I hope it does because it's like I said, it's something I'm looking forward to being able to partake in terms of just the experience itself of being over there and traveling over there and doing maybe some tourist stuff, maybe even some work. I don't know. You know, that might end up emerging. But as of right now, it's just only tourism that I'm looking to do. Yeah, for right now, it's just kind of like tourism and just going and seeing
Yeah.
things and following up on suggestions that people have given me, saying, "Hey, man, you come here, your life, the way you see the world completely changes," and I would love to be able to.
It does, it does.
I love to be able to see exactly what they mean by that, and I think it's gonna be a good thing. Anyway, take care, my man. You have a great one, and I will talk to you soon. And like I said, keep up the good work over at Indian football lovers. Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. Same thing to
All
you.
the best
Same
to
thing
you
to,
as well.
and same thing to everyone that joined in. Thank you.